Okay. It feels like a better connection right now. I really, really hope that, yes. Okay. Okay. Hi, beloved community. It looks like I got the right signal and I am live and I am in between. I'm in between experiences and I really wanted to give a voice to what I have recently been going through, because what I'm realizing, when we are given an experience and if we live in devotion to a higher dharma, every experience we receive that stirs up a lot of transformation in us is not given for us alone, but for us to share with the community, because you realize the community is your bigger body, right? Just how the cosmos is your bigger body. I'm Katerina, and I just wanted, I put the beautiful dress, my process every time. The beautiful dress gets me in that high frequency state, and but I feel really tender and I feel quite tired because of so much adrenaline that came through yesterday when Gracie returned home. And I just wanted to chat with you about it. I wanted to tell you the full story, what happened. And I wanted to tell you the biggest lessons that experience taught me, because um, this experience with Gracie, Gracie is my fur baby. It's my cat, my witchy cat, companion of 5 years. She disappeared for 2 weeks, so she was gone for 2 weeks, and she returned home last night, right at the point of my deepest surrender. And I'm just gonna take a look to make sure that the live stream is happening, and I'm checking it on my phone. So I appreciate you staying with me here. And please let me know in the comments that does the video come through and does the sound come through. I'm still in the process of finding the flow with the internet. I recently moved to a new house, and every time you shift location, it's exciting, the big change. And there is a lot of work that gets involved with this transition, right? So it looks like I am live streaming really well. So we'll just flow with it. Katie says it looks and sounds great. Yes, 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 yes. So if you ever went through a process of that looked like a loss, and you one of the big experiences, one of the big lessons of this experience for me was the art of letting go, clearly, but also the art of staying connected to my heart through entire process, and not to allow myself to go into the mental confusion and the mental drama, because I knew if I would do that, I would not be able to show up for a lot of things that I had to show up, like leadership and business and lots of responsibilities, right? A lot of things that you're holding. And this experience, going through 2 weeks of coming to terms that I may never see my fur baby again, brought up a lot of deep unconscious patterns for me. Hi, and here she comes. Here she comes. Hi, baby. You are very well known on social media. Would you like to say hello? She is half her size. So Gracie, come here, baby. Come here. Come. Do you want to say hello? We are on camera. Gracie. So I've made a conscious choice to honor her desire for freedom. And I was at peace if her desire for freedom and desire for wildness, if that would take over, and if she would be taken by the wild, I came to terms that I was at peace with that, because I see the wild completely different. I see the wild as an expression of Gaia, right? So it's one of the gifts of living your life through open-hearted awareness. I look at the reality quite differently. I don't look at this reality as something separate from me. And this experience with Gracie helped me anchor this seeing of the world in a very, very profound way. So this entire 2 weeks, beloved community, I was in communication with Gaia, right? Or Pachamama. Different spiritual traditions refer to the goddess of the earth as a living conscious being. So as a living conscious being, Gaia or Pachamama, we can attune our heart center to her heart center. We can connect our womb center to her womb center. That's why every moon cycle that I have, I go and I communicate with the trees and to the earth, because the communication is real, it's fast, it's reliable, and that I kept anchoring my consciousness in that, knowing if I remember, if everything is one, nothing is in the way, then I can stay telepathically connected to that pulse of life. That telepathic connection is instantaneous, right? A thought travels faster than the speed of light. Gracie, you want to say hello? Grace. So I kept staying in that connection, loves. And then what also was helping me is to honor the spirit that is in this being and to honor her sovereign choice. I've made a very conscious choice to honor her desire for freedom. So for 2 years in my previous home in Laguna Beach, she had her training of how to be an indoor cat. She was climbing trees, chasing lizards and chasing birds and catching mice. And she's never been more happy. I've seen a vitality in this animal. I've seen her liberation. I've seen her enjoyment of that process, right? And so, I wrote about it, I spoke about it. This was not a random experience. She was a very street smart cat. The part when it got dark for me is I was really concerned about being in a new environment where she doesn't know her environment. And that mother in me, that this is my child that I've raised ever since she was a tiny little kitten, right? So I battled with intense guilt, with intense blame. And I think it was like on a day 4 when she became missing, all of these patterns of deep self-judgment and a deep self-blame start arising in me. And I would go into this dark place of like beating myself up and being really hard on myself and becoming really analytical of anything I could do differently, anything I could do better, right? So this experience with her helped me see that pattern of being hard on myself and taking responsibility for the things that really not under my control. This experience would have happened anyway. It was just a matter of time. The communication that I received from Gaia, from the spirit, and when maybe somebody is listening to this and say, Katerina, how do you receive that communication? I receive it as a flood of understanding and a flood of knowing. Sometimes I hear it as a voice, as a clairaudient channel of communication. Sometimes I have a prophetic dream. Sometimes I will have a visual impressions. So there is nothing special about that communication. It takes patience and dedication to open up our psychic channels. But once we open them and purify our physical vehicle, we begin to communicate with the physical world, and the hummingbird is right there as an antenna. Our body becomes an antenna, right, Gracie? Come here, baby. Yes, you like to talk. Come here, honey. She's coming. So our body becomes an antenna, and this is what I desire for every person to experience. It takes time and devotion to open up our psychic channels, but once they're open, All fear leaves our system. All worry leaves our system. Come. Okay, I'm gonna show you Grace. Come here, honey. Yes, come here, baby. Grace, come here. Okay, let's say hello. Oh, let's say hello on the live stream. Let's say hello on the live stream, my baby. Yeah. You are so skinny. We're so skinny, but look how brave. She's such a witchy cat. So brave, so loving. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So she's skinny and skinny, but all in one piece. Okay, we're gonna show you one more time. Yeah, yeah. And basically, this every intense experience that comes into our lives, this is what I'm tracking, loves, is an act of light, an act of love. It's an act of love. Every change is an act of love. Every intense accelerated change, such as something happens to our health, something happens to the ones that we love, something happens in our business, right? It's like a jolt of change, is usually serves a reason to alert us, to purify us, to teach us intimacy with the present moment and intimacy with the reality, right? So I felt deeply that this experience was, she's going upstairs. I felt deeply this experience was teaching me something really profound. And my core pattern that I've been working on shifting for quite some time is in the times of intensity where I can really become an eye of the storm, which supports me on leadership and in business immensely. But the shadow side of that, almost superpower, right? The shadow side is that I can take on a lot of blame on myself, a lot of self-judgment, a lot of over responsibility. Instead, really realizing that there are certain things that they will happen independently of how much control you want to hold. And those things will happen, and you gotta see that unless you blame anything, you blame yourself, you blame another, blame keeps us away from freedom. This is what I've learned, been working a lot with the gene keys, a lot. And there's this beautiful gene key 55, chapter 55 in the big book of the gene keys. And it's basically a code that helps us activate true freedom in our consciousness. And the number one thing that holds us away from experiencing freedom is the shadow of blame, is this tendency for humans to blame. We either blame ourselves when something unexpected happens, or we blame another, or we blame the circumstances, or we blame the government, or we blame the neighbor, or we blame, right? And then and another part of it is complain. So we're trapped in the blame or complain cycle. And a lot of times we can't even see it, right? Because we either complain internally, I wish this didn't happen. Why is this happening right now? This is the worst time it needs to happen. Or we blame. I wish I was more vigilant. I wish I was more careful. I wish I did something different. So we spin, right, mentally in that loop, and we can't see the true gift of that experience. And the true gift of that experience opens up the true freedom. Come here, honey. Come here, baby. So Gracie and I, in a deep communication, ever since she came back, she's been more vocal and just says meow, meow, meow. So last night, my friend who's staying with me gave me a call last night. He's like, Katerina, Gracie's back. Gracie's back. And I was on my evening walk, as I usually go, evening walk, morning walk. Morning walk, 2 hours, evening walk, an hour and a half. And I was so far away. Okay, I'm gonna take the computer with me. I was so far away and I had to run. And I had to run probably. Gracie, come here, baby. Gracie, come here, honey. So, loves, what is possible when the moment requires all of your energy? I was on a day 2 juice fast. The only time I didn't bring a bottled water on my walk. I was like, I'm gonna go for a few minutes. I don't need a water bottle. I usually carry water bottle with me all the time. So my friend calls me, Gracie's back. I had to run super fast and I'm so far away. I'm like, I don't know, maybe half an hour walk away. So I had so much adrenaline energy running through me and I just kept running and I ran and I ran and I ran. By the time I got here, she was back all the way on top of the stairs. She came back from the same window that she left. So I have a window on the second floor of the house that connects to the roof, and that's how she left. And so she came back from the same window, was hungry and crying and meowing and meowing. And of course, I gave her food. Of course, I gave her water. And she wanted all of my love and all of my presence. So this was the great return, you know, and what I'm gonna do differently right now is I will get like a little pet tracker to make sure that I can track, you know, in the 1 mile radius. I am not gonna make this animal indoor only. I'm not willing to take her freedom away. What we did last night, we walked around the house. She was following me. She's like half a dog, half a cat. She's a very interesting animal. You know, she has like qualities of both species. You know, when I call her, she comes to me, right? When I say, let's go and walk around, she will walk around with me like a puppy would, right? But at the same time, she has the spirit of the cat. It's a very interesting blend of qualities in one animal. So, you know, I'm letting her get to know the backyard. I'm letting her get to know the area, the main room. She explored the garage, right? But what it taught me, when I was going through this experience, I saw the connection between blame and freedom. Every time my mind wanted to spin into blaming myself for, you know, things being the way they were, you know, I couldn't experience freedom and peace of the moment. And that was a huge epiphany for me. You know, maybe it will take me a few expressions to really nail this insight. Maybe it's still like integrating in my consciousness, right? But I'm expressing the way it's coming through right now. It's a whole next level of liberating yourself from self-judgment, being hard on yourself. I know that a lot of people in my community are self-made, self-driven, sovereign, self-sufficient, very ambitious leaders and entrepreneurs. I see this pattern again and again and again in a lot of people that I serve. And it's this tendency to be really, really hard on yourself when things go, you know, turbulent, where you gotta show up and hold space for your community, for your leadership, for your business, for your team. It's sometimes very natural or easy to take all the blame on your shoulders. And I don't think it's necessary, you know, and this is why I keep sharing this idea that when everything is one, nothing is in the way. When turbulence or change happens, you know, like what helped me through the entire experience is to continue to open my eye and to trust my ability to stay in telepathic connection, not just with Gracie, but with the whole cosmos. Because, you know, we can talk about 5D consciousness. We can talk about fifth dimensional consciousness. We can talk about it as a concept, but life gives us an opportunity to have an experience of that. And what I've lived through the last 2 weeks, my loves, fifth dimensional consciousness as a direct experience. If everything is one, nothing is in the way. If I am a fifth dimensional being, or, well, I'm a cosmic galactic being, just as you are, but let's just say collectively we're learning to stabilize fifth dimensional consciousness, which is rooted in unity, which means there is no separate me. The earth is my larger body, collective is my larger body, community is my larger body. So that's why the lessons that we receive, they're not for us alone. They are for the community as well. That's why, when you went on the journey with me, you were touched. So many of you have been deeply touched by being a part of witnessing of what Gracie and I moved through. And this is what my biggest discovery. When we receive deep, profound, and intense lessons, realizations that what you are being asked to endure is not only for your growth alone, but for the growth of your community, for the growth of the universe, for the growth of the collective, right? That realization always gives me deep fortitude, a deep sense of strength, a deep sense of resilience. When people ask me, where do you source your strength? Where do you source your resilience? In that realization. In that realization. So then, if you're open to see the sacredness of your lessons will become faster, deeper, more profound, more intense sometimes, but you stop fearing intensity. You see it as accelerated alchemy and you welcome it. All right, my loves, I'm not gonna make this too long. I'm gonna go cuddle with her, cuddle and just spend quality time. But I wanted to hop in and just to thank you from all my heart for holding space, for honoring my request of not offering advice when I reached the point where advice was not necessary. I was like, I am doing everything under the sun. And I remember asking at this point, please no more advice because it's not helping. And all I wanted was loving witnessing. And I really feel so grateful that you honored that and you just kept holding the field with me and witnessing in a very benevolent, profound way the process. Another lesson, that I've learned through this experience, when you go through deep alchemy, sometimes advice is really not needed. It's love, it's witnessing, it's saying, I'm here, I'm with you here. And me as a guide and as a mentor, it was a huge learning, deepening of what does it mean to really support someone through intensity. A lot of times it's the presence that we crave the most. It's hearing, I'm here with you. That's what's so healing whenever you're going through something deeply profound and deeply alchemical. So I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for witnessing us. I am sure there's going to be a lot more lessons that I'll share. And for now, I'm just gonna rest and recover together with Gracie. And we love you, and thank you so much. I will see you very, very soon. Until then.